Hey guys, today we are going to attempt to make pickles. I got a bunch of my pickling cucumbers are done. So what I'm doing is I am cutting the ends off my pickles. And definitely the blossom end, which is this end right here, because they say it holds some kind of chemical. So I'm just going to cut the ends off here. Now I need to determine if I'm going to make spear or if I'm going to do round ones. I haven't decided yet, so we'll come back to this. So I have two different things. I have a recipe I pulled offline by the Crispy and Delicious Homemade Pickles, because I want crispy pickles. Nothing's worse than limp pickles. So I don't know if I'm going to do this one or Ball's Kosher Dill Pickle Mix. It says the crunchier pickles includes pickle crisp and granules, so I won't have to use my pickle crisp. So I'm trying to figure out if this is what I want to do to use this. So let's see what we need to do. So I've chosen to do the spear cut. So in order to do that, I'm just going to cut them in quarters. So I can leave them like this, so they're that thick. Or I can cut them in quarters, so they're like that. I think I'm going to try to leave them about like that, because that looks like about a pickle, right? Okay, so we're going to try that. I have almost 5 pounds right here of sliced pickles. And then the little ends I just made into rounds. So this recipe I'm using calls for 8 pounds, so I'm going to have to kind of adjust. It doesn't really matter if I make too much brining liquid, because I can always save it for later. But now I got to go collect everything. I need water, I need my canning and pickling salt, my vinegar, sugar, pickling spice mix, mustard seeds, fresh dill, which I have from my garden. It smells like fresh dill, and garlic. So I've got to go gather everything and then we'll go from there. Okay guys, here we go. So I got all my ingredients together and I'm using the recipe I downloaded. So the first thing we're going to do is we needed 8 cups of water. So 1 quart. I think that's 1 quart, isn't it? Or is that 2 quarts? It's 2 quarts. So 8 cups of water, 1.5 quarts of vinegar. And with pickling, it's very important that you use 5% vinegar. Make sure when you go to Wally World or whatever, that on here it says, hang on, I gotta find it somewhere, 5% acidity. There are a lot of them are coming out now, I hear, with 4%. You need to use 5%. Okay, we're doing this together. So we put in the vinegar, we put in the water. We have 1/4 of a cup of sugar. We got 1/2 of a cup of pickling salt. I don't have mustard seeds, so in all honesty, I'm going to use some black pepper seeds. That will give it some spice. And it says 3 to 4 tablespoons. I'm just going to put in something that looks like that. All right, and then we're going to need 12 to 10 fresh dill, which we don't use that yet, and a whole bunch of garlic cloves. It says like 10, so I have a bunch of garlic clove heads putting in there. And then I'm actually going to throw in some onions. Okay, so we got some onions in there, and we're going to let this boil. We're going to bring it to a boil for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to, then our brine will be ready. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot the pickling spice. I need 2 tablespoons of this stuff here. This is pickling spice, so I'm going to go stick that in the water real quick. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many pickle jars I'm going to get out of this. I've got 3 quarts here that I'm going to see about filling up. I might get 4 out of it. I'm actually just adding this extra onion that I had. I'm just throwing it in there for flavor. Never hurt anything. And then I'm going to take my sprigs of dill right here. I'm going to take them off the stem, and you can use the flowery part. You just don't put the stem in there. I'm going to stick these down at the bottom, and it definitely has that yummy dill smell. And you know what? I'm not really even a dill pickle fan, but I'm more apt to do it if I make it myself. So let me finish this up. We're waiting for stuff to boil, and we're going to water bath this. Now, some people say with pickles you don't have to water bath because they're hot seal. You put the lids on and they're good to go. I've made pickles before. I'm just not sure of it. I'm still kind of new to canning, so I am just going to water bath them. This recipe says for 15 minutes, and they say they're crispy. So I'm going to follow the instructions on this recipe, and we'll see. It's going to take us a little while because you got to let them sit over, you know, a while to eat, so that they can absorb all the flavors. So a couple weeks at least. But anyway, I'll get back to you when it's ready to fill. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a bay leaf to each jar. And you're like, why add a bay leaf? A bay leaf is supposed to help with keeping the pickles crisp. And so I'm just going to add in one bay leaf. Now they're kind of breaking up, so I'll have to put in a couple maybe to each jar that I'm doing. And that's just going to help it out. Okay, now we're going to figure out how many jars of pickles I have, and we're going to be filling these jars up, because then we're going to take the pickles juice or the brine and pour it in there. So basically what I'm doing is I'm putting the pickles up, and you want them to come within at least a ½ inch of the jar top. And I'm doing mine speared, so I tried to cut them so that they'd be that way. So I'm just going in and I'm just stuffing them in there like that. So I'll work on that. When you're doing pickles, it's kind of like Tetris. You're trying to get stuff to fit in there, because you want to get as much as you can, but you don't want to overfill it, because you want the juice to be able to get in and around it and marinate. So now this is my final jar. I'm up to 2/4. This is my 6th jar, and I have all those like cut pickles, and I'm going to put those in here, and we're just going to use that to fill up the rest of this jar. Oops, I just dropped one. So I've got some round pickles too. So I had about 5½ cups or pounds of pickles or cucumbers, and I'm getting 6 quarts on how I cut them. And then I've just got some extra sprigs of dill in here. I'm just going to throw them on top, even though I have them in there already, because I want dill pickles. So I've got my water bath water boiling right now, because when we're done with this, like I said, we're going to water bath it. I've got about another 4 minutes for my other stuff to boil up, so hang on and we'll come back. Side tip to canning: don't throw these boxes away. Hang on to them, because when you're done canning, you can put your jars in here and help transport them easier. Okay guys, it's done on the stove. It boiled for 10 minutes. So now we're going to add these to the jar, the hot liquid. I'll make sure, hopefully it doesn't burst, because it doesn't say to warm up your canning jars. So I'm going to do this slowly to make sure that we don't bust anything. So hang on, I'm going to pull this back. So I'm going to stir this around real good, make sure all the mixture is mixed up. All right. Hold on to my little ladle thing and slowly pour it over my pickles. And I think I was supposed to not add the onions in at this time, but I may have to make some more, because it's taking a lot of liquid. It's not. The cucumbers I had were a lot crazier than what I thought. So here we go. And they say you want it about a ½ inch from the top. And of course I've got all these onions up here, so hang on. I'm going to take those out. And I'm more than a ½ inch. I mean, like, I'm right there. It's my salt shaker. Alright, because you want to make sure all your pickles are covered, which they are. You're going to wipe the rim like I just did, and you're going to put your lid on. Now, some people would just take this and let it self-seal, which they're supposed to do. So, as I said, I'm going to actually can mine, or I'm going to water bath it. So let me finish filling this up and we'll go from there. Okay guys, we're in our last jar, and I think I actually have enough. Yep. Oops, actually filled it up a little bit too much, I think. Gotta take a spoonful out. Oh my gosh, the recipe was right. Who figures? I Actually, it was just enough. There's a little bit left over, but we're good. So I'm putting the lids on. I'm just waiting for my water to boil up, and then I will stick them in there. Put my cans in here. We'll see how many this can are. I've never canned water bathed with this one before. Oh, good. Looks like I'm able to do about probably 6 or 7. So now they're on there. My water is getting ready to boil. And so I'm going to get that in there, and they're going to go in for 15 minutes. And it has to be 1 inch over the top. Okay guys, it's done. So I'm going to bring them out of the water bath. So I don't know if you guys saw how green these pickles were when I put them in. These guys now look like canned pickles. So they have not completely sealed yet because I just took them out and they haven't pinged. So these need to sit here. As they cool down, these lids should ping, and that means they're sealed. So we have about, hang on. So it doesn't say a specific time, but I have heard with pickles, the longer they sit, the better they are. So I'm thinking these would be great to try maybe about the end of September. That gives us about 6 weeks, which is a good amount of time to get them to kind of sit and do their business. So anyway, we're going to check out. I'm going to try to send this link attached to this pickling thing, and we will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.